down in the bottom left side of the map in the blue. The Protoss player known for his cheeky build orders, already with a super weird pylon positioning in the back of his base. It's ButAlways. He's getting proxy racks. Oh.
And up here in the top right-hand side, wanting to do some cheeky little tricks of his own, it is the red Terran here, Expect. I feel like 2000 atmospheres is always like the one I expect to be sensible, and honestly, some of the craziest games I see happen on this map.
I am loving the camera angles from these players here. We've got nice different views of both. And expect their proxy barracks double gas play. No doubt a Reaper rush incoming. It would be crazy if you floated that in and built a tech lab inside the base, but I don't think we'll see that.
I'm sad, because I never even needed to go through that beautiful world in my head. I never even needed to know about that. But maybe one day.
You know we need more of actually factories floating into the main and starting to build widow mines there. That'd be cool.
We got a pylon on the edge of the base. We'll chuck a bunker down. So we'll see how much ButAlways commits to trying to shut this one down, and also how much beautiful SCV RNG that we get. Dodge in the probe. So far, so good. Absolutely gorgeous.
Can't hit me. Does float back into the area where it can get touched, though. Got to pop that off and on again. Expect does if he wants to guarantee it gets up, but actually Reaper will end up saving the day. So bunker definitely goes up. Nicely timed. Going to cause a bit of a delay on that. Stalker is on the way, but this was Nexus before Cybercore, so of course Reaper has a bit of free reign in here. Nice micro by ButAlways, though. Only losing one probe on the low ground and one on the high ground. So 2 in total. Reaper goes back to the bunker. Second Reaper will be joining it. And a sentry accidentally starts up, cancels. And another Stalker does start up. ButAlways a little panicky here.
He's going to chip away at the bunker in exchange for some shields while he can. Another Reaper rolling in, seeing if he can catch that Stalker out of position and maybe get some probe kills in the meanwhile. As we're getting a bit of a repair from the SCV.
Oh, good SCV micro. Does get in there. Void's going down. Stargate's coming up behind this. Phoenix is the standard follow-up for Protoss here, but the Stargate is a little late for that. And actually a third Reaper as well as building. Wow, fascinating.
Getting a Cyclone in the meanwhile back at home for Expect, so that might help him with the Stargate shenanigans. And a Robo as well before we've even seen the first Stargate unit.
Battery overcharge needs to go down soon. It's almost out of energy. These Reapers do need to run, though. No selling of the bunker. Wow, he lets it die. I think a bit of a mistake there from Expect, piling on this aggression. Barracks is still in position on the left side of this map. Finally, it starts floating home.
Let's see what the choice of unit is. You're right. Phoenix coming straight out, and he's going to chrono that. So that will really help him control these first couple of units, the Cyclones and the Reapers, and try to get back into a more comfortable position here.
Yeah, the Reapers could bounce those Stalkers around, allow the Cyclone to pick something off potentially. Don't think he forced the battery overcharge out, though. So that, of course, will save anything. Phoenix comes forward. Not sure what that pickup's about. There's nothing there to capitalize on it.
I like it. He's sending a message.
He's like, I can do with you what I will.
Oh boy, Cyclone keeping everything busy. In the meanwhile, Reaper's rolling up in towards the main and getting some more probe kills. So a little bit of damage in there. Finally, the Phoenix starting to have some impact, and the Reaper's on a one-way trip mission right now.
Yeah, they get blasted off the edge of the map there. It is going to be Colossus play. Robobay did get spotted there by Expect, so he should know what he's up against. He's building some Cyclones and has landed his command center. So Phoenix Colossus. Now, ButAlways said it was, liked the gateway style, but I do feel like I've seen ButAlways play like just Phoenix into carriers with a few Colossus or Disruptors on the ground. Could be wrong in remembering that, but you know, it's an interesting style. It definitely suits him. I feel like ButAlways is really, really in love with micro when he's the one doing like a one base all in. And otherwise, he likes, when it gets to mid game onwards, he likes to do these like, you know, let's get up mass sky toss, let's get 6 Colossus in our army. Like these kind of more A-movie armies, not as finesse focused, but he likes to be greedy in how he gets up to it. That being said, Phoenix production has halted, so it does feel like ButAlways is transitioning back to ground.
What's going on with all these cyclones here, Pig? Is it a Phoenix response or?
Yeah, I mean, right now, so this is what we call the I'm going to make a lot of cyclones because it's pretty technical and it allows them to go pew-pew from far away. I have no idea, man. 4 is insane, especially if you're not going to bother with Magfield. Like, it's crazy. If you get Magfield, you can maybe snipe a Nexus with it. You can do some really cool run-bys, right? And you can pick off Colossus. And they definitely help against the air units. A lot of the times people have a starport, so they would go Cyclone, Cyclone, Viking, and maybe 2 Cyclones, 2 Vikings if they really want to be safe. But because he didn't have the starport down, he was like, you know what, I'll build 4. And it's a little different. They are a useful unit if you micro them very well.
Well, he's going to start rolling out across the map a little bit before heading home. Getting Thermal Lance finishing up in the meanwhile for ButAlways, who's pumping up those numbers in terms of the Colossus. Still committing to a fair bit of Phoenix, so keen on utilizing the utility of those. This is probably one of the less scary bioforces I've seen from a Terran in this matchup.
I don't even know if that's a bioforce. That's a cyclone force with a few Marines there to cheerlead, right?
Some dudes, yeah. Did they even get stim?
If they do, it's not useful. There's Colossus out. So the Marines really aren't useful here against any of these units except the Phoenix, if the Phoenix decide to engage into them. But with the battery up and everything, I definitely think this is very scary for the Terran. The tank does go down. Nice move by ButAlways, taking out the most important unit. Phoenix going to be lifting up those Cyclones and expect taking a very bad fight.
Yeah, that didn't feel like it was ever going to work, and it gets absolutely mopped by ButAlways. He is well and truly in the driver's seat at this point. He's cruising along with that third Nexus. He can really start to go pretty ham with that probe count, starting to mix in some disruptors to his forces. He adds the double Forge and Twilight. It's very clear he's well within his comfort zone, and he's even feeling quite keen to get out on the map and maybe make some plays in the meanwhile.
Disruptor transition, double Forge, Twilight, my lord. Talk about winning a fight and just doing everything at once. Take a 4th base as well, but always just go for it, mate. You're getting all the tech anyway. He's going to have a little poke here. He can't find anything. Tanks, of course, outrange his whole army. Expect, will you be able to just out macro? I mean, the worker count's still good for Expect, so it's not too bad. I do think, though, that there's no attack for a long time. ButAlways can both pick off SCVs and probe really hard here.
Yeah, getting a great value out of the Phoenix. Unfortunately, loses one on the back end there. As ButAlways posturing, trying to force any reactions out. Meanwhile, Expect trying to do the macro dance, adding himself that 3rd CC on location. Trying to actually get some meaningful bio upgrades and a bit more of brawn to his force, adding way more Marauders and siege tanks in, as opposed to literally just Marine Cyclone that we saw before.
Well, Phoenix doing a good job there, getting 3 SCVs, but another one goes down. A little sloppy with lifting up too many units there, ButAlways. His transition behind it on the ground is looking great, though. I'd love to see that 4th Nexus. ButAlways has already hit 63 workers, and he's building a couple more. Lots of gateways coming down. Big Zealot Archon army being added to the Colossus. If you don't have ghosts against this, you cannot fight it on the map. Expect really needs to play a slow game to recover. If he attacks into this, I think he gets like smashed by ButAlways ground army.
ButAlways working on these upgrades, but he's going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball once, a little bit ahead of the 8 ball rather, once Expect finishes up that first upgrade. He can kind of just steamroll ahead with the 2-2. There you go. Not straight away, but eventually does move towards the 4th as he's starting to work on his probe count and feeling more confident about the output from all of his gateways that are going to finish up soon. And he's kind of just still committing in with these Phoenix, you know, buffing up that Phoenix number that is still getting him value over time, keeping Expect worried about it. He's not really investing as much in the prison, but he's still keeping a mobile unit where he can pick off reinforcements or maybe even lift some SCVs here and there.
Yeah, and I like the pylon spotters out on the map. Wanted to put one up on the top right as well. Doesn't quite get it there, ButAlways, as his 2-2 starts on up. Probing the 4th base as well. Building more Immortals is ButAlways, but the Ghost transition is underway for Expect. And Expect very turtled up right now. No sign of an armory, 2nd engineering bay, or a 4th command center, though. And that's where things always get a little bit scary for the Terran, when they're just like, no, just hit my production, get a giant army. At a certain point, it will start to feel like a 3-base all-in if he doesn't drop that 4th command center very soon.
Yeah, working on those ghosts though, which will give him a little bit more of that safety net against the Zealot Icon and the Templar and the splash damage that ButAlways is mixing in. He's got a little bit of everything. He's got, that magic number of Colossus. He's got miscellaneous Disruptor in there and some Templar. So he's definitely got his options open to him. Just looking to add more bulk to his army. And with the second Robo finishing up as well, he can start to, hard switch into the Disruptors if that's what he wants to do at some point.
Expect still no 4th command center, still no second eBay or armory. Expect is going to do a giant 3-base timing, and it's going to be so hard to stop. It's mass ghost tank. I think as ButAlways, maybe you can beat this army head on, but if you counterattack, you backstab this, I mean, he's got nothing at home, right? I really think flanking this, going around it, be real careful with how you fight this, because that's a lot of Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings keeping the Phoenix at arm's length. Didn't see how many Templars there are with very much energy. I know there's only that one Disruptor, so in terms of those really big impact splash damages, not seeing a whole lot working, but it's going to have to be the Colossus getting work done. In this posturing, though, Expect is adding another CC behind.
ButAlways' army does buy time for 2-2. He looked like he wanted to fight there, but since Expect's dilly-dallying, I think you got to force the issue. Send those Zealots on a counterattack, start shaving this army away. He's going to try and defend this 4th base. He wants to broadside the tanks while they're on siege. ButAlways goes around. He's going to lose control of the area near that 4th, but he's going to go for it. The Colossus Immortal Zealot Archon goes and dives on in, but the Zealots derp a little bit there. Immortals, my god, that's 5 Immortals.
Yeah, working on those the whole time, and those just absolutely shred the tanks. That was a very one-sided fight in favor of ButAlways. He's starting to run out of things that shoot up, but don't worry, a wave of 8 Stalkers do come out there, and he's able to get himself that first map victory. So one step closer to the playoffs now.
And Expect kind of jumping up and down in his chair there, looking a little bit frustrated as he does just get completely wiped. I think in that fight, ButAlways actually killed more Zealots with the Disruptor than any Terran units, just because he killed the Terran force so quickly and overrun the position. And it was like, oh, what? Everything just crumbled. Yeah, apparently no EMPs must have landed, right? The Zealots were kind of just charging in. Some of the bio was off fighting the Nexus. You got to get those nice EMPs, get those tank volleys. Those Vikings need to be in front of the army, shooting the Colossus, but they were on the wrong position. So a very bad fight for Expect.
Alrighty, well, let's see. He's got a very, very good win rate against this opponent in particular. Going to need to win 2 maps back-to-back. Well, that's him done here in DreamHack Masters. Let's find out the conclusion of this series after the break. Welcome back to DreamHack Masters StarCraft 2, getting towards the pointy end of all the group stages here in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Could be only one more game left in it if ButAlways gets himself another dub here, and so far he's been good for it up against Expect, right?
Handled the aggression really well at the start with the Proxy Reaper bunker rush, but yeah, from there it just seemed like clean, solid defense, good scouting, solid macro play, and dealing with that big immobile army. Expect loves those big siege tank Viking sort of pushes. He likes to really build towards one big army, but it's a bit immobile, and if he loses track of where the Protoss is, you can see how one-sided the fights are. Viking tank is all about positioning and setup, and ButAlways outpositioned him in that game. But Expect, he was looking very upset at the end of that last game. The Terran reactions versus Protoss, it always looks like someone who's just kind of felt a bit cheated, you know? They've driven off from the used car dealership and it's broken down just 2 kilometers down the road.
Yeah, well, let's see if he's going to be able to get that engine started again, because right now he's running on empty, hasn't got a single dub in this series yet. He's going to need to put 2 together or he is out of DreamHack Masters Summer. It is the red Terran here, Expect.
And down in the bottom left side, the Protoss player turning upside down his past losses to this Terran. It's ButAlways. Such a weird pylon position for ButAlways, but like no one else really does it.
I can't be bothered pylon.
Well, the thing is, it actually hides his tech, because a lot of the time you want your second pylon kind of able to wall off your natural.
Yeah.
And then your first one, so many times, if you wall off the ledge, they just jump up to the edge of the ledge. They're like, oh, I'm walled off, but I can also see your Stargate, and then just leave with my Reaper. So it's kind of cute. Just being like, hey, if you want to get in here, you're losing that Reaper. If you want to see that tech, you're 100% committing, and it's going to die. So it's kind of a cool little adjustment. And I always like when players do things that are different, their own flavor. I also love that 2 games in a row, he's just like scouting. Scouting's for losers. Not going to do that.
This is looking like one of like my lazy ladder games for the past. Just like, oh, I was alt tab for too long. Guess just chuck my pylon here. I forgot to send out a scout. Whatever, you know. It's just DreamHack Masters Summer. No big deal. Already up 1-0 anyway. Let's just get it done.
That's the way, man. Just you know, see if we can get it done. We'll Expect this coming in with a sneaky bunker rush again, not from a proxy this time. So it's going to be harder to get that up. We'll need to do a bit of fancy SCV micro if he wants to ensure that it'll get up, but ButAlways doesn't even care. He's like, yeah, whatever. I don't want to play the RNG game, man. I don't want to go to the casino. I'm just going to build a pylon there. I can chuck a Stalker down here, a shield battery, go Stargate Phoenix behind it. And this is so mapped out at the moment in the meta. When Terrans do this, Protoss players always go Stalker, shield battery, Stargate Phoenix. So whatever Expect does, as long as it's not going for Widowmine or Hellion drop, I'm happy with it.
ButAlways definitely did a good job with his Phoenix in the last game, controlling the map and just getting more and more damage over time. Even if he was, you know, losing a couple of stragglers from the main pack. Definitely one of the players that was getting much more value out of those Phoenix. We got the ultimate doorman here of the Stalker. Doesn't want the Reaper to roll into that bunker if he can avoid it.
Well, Reaper had to heal up a little bit, but he will get in there now. Shield battery is up though, ButAlways pulling those probes back. Doesn't want to risk losing any of those. Bit of target fire on that probe. Could maybe take it down. Nice SCV dodges so far, but I'd like to see him sell the bunker this time around.
Yep. Gonna salvage that, and the Reaper pops out. Oh, not quite a good enough angle, so at least it does make it into the main, and that will spot a bit of the tech that's coming out. So Expect with a little bit more info than he had in the previous map.
Didn't get to see the Robo though, unfortunately. So Stargate is nice info. Kind of confirms what you'd already expect though, but exact same follow-up for ButAlways is like, dude, it worked so well last game. Let's do it again. Now, obviously, quicker starport for Expect does give him the option. Wait, is he putting the starport on the reactor? No, sorry, that was the factory, right? Of course, the starport's not done. Phew, just had a brain fart. I was like, is he going reacted Viking? Like, what?
This is what happens when you make it this deep into the night. It's all good. As
My condition's so much better than yesterday, man. I swear, I swear.
I'm sorry about that. I feel partially responsible.
No, it was just the first day of the new sleep schedule. You know, when we kick off the couple of weeks of broadcasting late into the night, it's always just an adjustment. Oh, nice
100%.
Widowmine Marine Trap.
Okay. See if he's going to be able to get it. Oh, barely keeps it alive. Even the boys trying to come out of the bunker to polish that one off. But the Phoenix will head back home, recharge those shields, and potentially be a little bit more useful later on. I'm loving this style from ButAlways, though. He just doesn't believe in gateways in the first X minutes of the game. Only Robo and Stargate units.
Well, a lot of Protoss players complain about their gateway units being not strong enough. They're like, man, gateway units are so bad. I'm like, you know you can build them in your opponent's base, right? They have to not be that great, right?
It's not so good anymore. Long gone are the days of warp onto the high ground with vision alone. And
thankfully, you need the Robo and the Prism first. The old days, dude, that was... Oh, look, I've got a Void Ray and a Pylon on the low ground. I can warp 4 Zealots in your main at 4 minutes in the game. Ha ha.
Rip Metalopolis.
Well, we're about to have some fireworks. Mass Widowmine drops coming across this map. 3 Widowmines here. There is an armory as well. The Phoenix are in position, but there's only 2 of them. No third Phoenix here. Ooh,
one of them does actually detonate, but not sure how much damage that's really done. And look, that's gone great for ButAlways. He's pretty concisely polished that off. He's kept a fair few workers up, and these Phoenix definitely going to help out. Oh my god, I did not see the second one. He's done a pretty good probe pull, though.
Yeah, good probe pull. Absolutely. Sacks a few probes. The Observer should be home by now as well. So we should be able to clear this up. Phoenix is going to chase that. Oh! Trying to create as much of a problem as possible. The Phoenix are on top, and the Observer will allow to clean this up. That is a pretty good control. Third Nexus is going to finish behind it. ButAlways is all over this, Pilly.
Oh, you can't do Phoenix. You can't do the Widowmine drops into that many Phoenix, and just the probe splitting. That all the control was on point. Like, that was a picture perfect defense.
Oh man, I'm just it's running through my head now. Hey, because he knew it was Phoenix. Wouldn't it be cool if he didn't show the Widowmine drops and he just sits in the dead space and he just waits until he sees the Phoenix on his side of the map and then goes in with it? 2 Widowmine drops, just blankets him in. That would have actually been super cool, because a guy who's gone Phoenix isn't going to build like multiple observers. He's just going to have an observer on your side of the map, a few Phoenix coming across, and that's it. So I really would have loved to see that adjustment from Expect. I think Terran players will probably shout at me and they're like, no, that's too late. You know, you miss your timing if you do it that late. But interestingly, 7 barracks for Expect already. Wow, I think he's going to play mass bio, like just Marine Marauder drop style. But he's got 2 eBays as well, like super macro style. Wow, he's got so many barracks so fast.
Yeah, he went for a lot of those Cyclones, and those were actually helping him deal with the Phoenix last game. But without those 4 Cyclones, a little pack of Cyclones, he's just going to lose a whole bunch of SCVs. Just the maneuverability of these Phoenix allowing him to pick off reinforcements just be super annoying. And the stim is great, but not able to kind of reposition in time to really have enough impact and stop these Phoenix, which was having their way with the Terran.
Yeah, he does have a lot of SCVs though, so 55 versus 61, not bad. Widowmine drop did go in during this, but it looks like it's not going to be able to get down to the natural. And there was already a cannon in the natural anyway, and in the main. Oh, ButAlways was like, nah, if you've already done Widowmine drops, you're going to keep doing them, reading his opponent very well. And whilst the supply looks good for Expect, he's still building tanks. And this has always been Expect's kind of crutch, is I like massing tanks. Massing tank players, very hard to kill, but it's very hard for them to actually take the fight to the Protoss player and win the game. We saw it in that last game. That push was so slow, and it was barely in range of the 4th, and bam, it got jumped on and wiped. So ButAlways has a lot of time to build up that supply. His gateway count is exploding. Let's see what he can do with this.
Started to work on the ghosts here for Expect, so that will definitely help out in a little bit once he starts to go up against this charged lot force. A lot of gateways and a Templar archives. Oh no.
Well, that does remind Expect to finish the turret at least. So no 4th base just yet for Expect once again. I think with this style, I'd like to see a fast 4th and him like go for the armory and double ups and stuff. But the eBay is finally adding the +1 armor upgrade. 2-2 is on the way for ButAlways. ButAlways seems pretty comfortable in the 60s of probes, like 62, 68. He seems to hang out there for a while. Not too keen on like rushing up to a 4th basis of income. And I think for him, it's just about, getting the right army to deal with that push. And it's going to come out of Expect. He's a 3-base timing master.
Well, you're right. Again, really pumping in all of that barracks production into a strong army heading up towards 100 supply. You're seeing the Phoenix try to posture, trying to pick off any reinforcements. If they can just get a couple of tanks in the meanwhile, that's going to make Expect's life a little bit more difficult setting up an entrenched position near one of these nexuses.
Double drop coming in, looking for a snipe on the 4th, but it's on the top left side of the map, so Expect not going to be able to get that ghost coming in. Air attack upgrades as well. It really feels like Expect is adding so much stuff that I got to question where that 4th base is and say, come on, where's the armory? He's got the actually +2, so he does have the armory from earlier because of the Widowmine drops, doesn't he?
Ooh, almost taking out that medevac. Definitely would help out to thin the numbers.
Well, these Phoenix are so aggro. But always so annoying to play against.
Oh, the ghosts, if you can get a few of those, that would be excellent. The EMP does take all of the shields and the energy of the Phoenix, so they're done for the time being. But even just delaying this push for longer and giving more time for ButAlways to get ready is invaluable.
The double drop diving into the natural, but the Phoenix just recalled there. And does pull back with that drop for now. Army moving down the left side, but always has got a lot of detection up, or vision, I should say. Pylons all over the place. Does find this probe. There's pylons everywhere on that left side of the map. Expect is starting to clear it up, though. He's got a 4th on the way. He's got good upgrades on the way. Expect does have a 10 army supply lead. Is it going to be enough against this big Protoss army of Zealot Archon Colossus?
Starting to see Expect posturing. He's been harassed for long enough. He's been delayed for long enough. Start clearing out some of these spotting pylons in the middle of the map, and we'll see if ButAlways is going to be able to get a really nice position like last game or not. Doesn't really feel like it. Those tanks on the high ground giving him a bit of a tough time. There's not as many Zealots as last time, and you're starting to see the stutter step come in for Expect.
Good micro from Expect. His double drop does stim into the natural. Those units need to do some damage because he is getting jumped on the front. He needs to just run home with these guys, and the other guys need to do big damage.
Yeah, all the way home with the stutter step. Hasn't got a tank set up there just yet. This Zealot warp in starting to clean up the double drop in towards the natural. Look at ButAlways. He really wants to push the issue and just get this series done right now.
Dude, the bio was so clumped into the lasers, and ButAlways rolling over the top. A huge sigh of relief, and he has got that monkey off his back. Expect beating him the last 3 times